Welcome to MF English Stories. Enjoy short English stories with powerful life lessons. Don't forget to subscribe.
On the edge of a small countryside town, where golden rice fields stretched endlessly beneath the blue sky, lived a boy named Ethan Carter. Ethan was 12 years old, curious, energetic, and always dreaming of adventure. He loved freedom more than anything else, and to him, freedom meant one thing above all: flying kites. Every afternoon after school, Ethan would run barefoot across the fields with a colorful kite in his hands. The wind there was strong and playful, lifting the kite high into the air as if it were alive. Watching it dance against the clouds filled Ethan with joy. He believed that the higher the kite flew, the freer it became. His father, Thomas Carter, often watched from the porch of their small wooden house. Thomas was a quiet man, weathered by years of work as a carpenter. His hands were rough, his words few, but his eyes always carried warmth and wisdom. One afternoon, as Ethan prepared his kite, Thomas walked over and said gently, "Remember, son, the string is just as important as the wind." Ethan laughed. "That's silly, Dad. The string just holds it back. If I cut it, the kite would fly forever." Thomas smiled faintly but said nothing more. One Saturday, the sky turned a brilliant blue and the wind blew stronger than ever before. Ethan saw it as the perfect opportunity. He had just finished making a brand new kite, larger, brighter, and stronger than any he had owned before. As he ran across the field, the kite soared higher and higher. Children gathered to watch, pointing up in amazement. "Wow, it's flying so high!" someone shouted. Ethan felt proud. His heart swelled with excitement. Then, a thought crossed his mind, one he had carried quietly for a long time. What if I let it go? What if I cut the string and set it truly free? He remembered his father's words but brushed them aside. "This is my kite," he muttered. "I decide what happens to it." Without hesitation, Ethan pulled out a small blade from his pocket and cut the string. For a moment, the kite soared higher than ever before. It spun wildly, dancing in the sky, completely free. Ethan cheered. "I did it! Look, it's free!" But then, something unexpected happened. The kite began to shake. Without the tension of the string, it lost balance. The wind, once its friend, now pushed it violently. It twisted, dropped, and suddenly disappeared behind the distant hills. The crowd fell silent. Ethan's smile slowly faded. That evening, Ethan couldn't stop thinking about the kite. It was his best one, the result of days of careful work. Guilt crept into his heart. The next morning, he went searching. He walked through tall grass, muddy paths, and narrow derrive roads. Hours passed. Just when he was about to give up, he spotted a torn piece of red fabric stuck in a tree near an old farmhouse. His kite. The frame was broken. The tail was tangled. The once bright colors were dull with dirt. As Ethan reached for it, an elderly farmer stepped out. "That yours?" the man asked. Ethan nodded, ashamed. "It fell onto my roof last night," the farmer said. "Nearly broke a window." "I'm sorry, sir," Ethan said quietly. The man sighed. "A kite isn't meant to fly without a string, son. Freedom without control becomes danger." Ethan thanked him and walked home with the broken kite in his arms. That evening, Ethan sat silently at the dinner table. His father noticed the torn kite beside him. Thomas didn't scold him. Instead, he asked gently, "Did your kite fly forever?" Ethan shook his head. "No, it crashed." "Why do you think that happened?" Ethan hesitated. then answered softly, "Because I cut the string." Thomas nodded. "The string doesn't trap the kite, Ethan. It guides it. It gives direction, balance, and safety." He placed a hand on his son's shoulder. Responsibility is like that string. Without it, freedom becomes chaos. Ethan lowered his eyes. "I thought being free meant having no limits." Thomas smiled kindly. "True freedom comes from knowing your limits and respecting them." That night, Ethan lay awake, replaying everything in his mind. He finally understood what his father had tried to teach him. The next week, Ethan repaired the kite. It wasn't perfect anymore, but it was stronger in a different way. He reinforced the frame and tied a new, stronger string. When he went back to the field, his father joined him. This time, Ethan held the string firmly. He let the kite rise, but not recklessly. He adjusted the tension, guiding it with care. The kite flew beautifully, steady, graceful, and controlled. Ethan smiled, not because it was high, but because it was safe. "I get it now, Dad," he said. "The string doesn't stop the kite from flying. It helps it fly the right way." Thomas nodded proudly. Years later, Ethan grew into a responsible young man. Whenever life tempted him to take shortcuts or act recklessly, he remembered the kite. He learned that freedom without responsibility leads to loss. Choices always have consequences. True strength lies in self-control. Guidance is not a weakness, but a gift. And every time he saw a kite dancing in the sky, he smiled, remembering the day he learned one of life's most important lessons.